Hello, friends. This is Pastor Edwin Estevez for your weekly Friday e-news update. I am standing in the parlor, third floor of Grace Church. And behind me, there's a wonderful sculpture that I'm going to tell you about later. But first, an update. As you may have heard, there's lots of information coming out about gradual reopening for churches and organizations and agencies. We are looking at all that information, all that data, and trying to make the best decisions possible. So please pray for our discernment, for wisdom, and for courage as we make our way forward in what is something unprecedented and new for all of us. The Grace Leadership Team has a meeting this Sunday, and we will be discussing what reopening might look like. We would love your input. A survey was sent out in the midweek. It's being sent out as part of the Friday e-news, and of course will be sent out for the month of May as we request you give us your sense of what reopening might look like and how you feel about coming back to in-person worship. So please make sure to fill out that survey. This coming Sunday, we will be looking at the topic of fatigue and Sabbath. Jesus invites us in the Gospel of Matthew, "Come to me, all of you who are weary and heavy laden, and I will give you rest." So we'll be talking about what resting in Jesus looks like. But of course, behind me is a story of struggle and a story of hope. This is a sculpture by Charles Parks, the very well-known Delaware sculptor. And it is titled Classmates, where a black boy and a white girl are going to attend school. This is about the desegregation period in our country that arose, of course, out of such tragedy that we were separated by race and the injustice of all of that. There was a lot of struggling. There was a lot that had to be done. Churches organizing and rallying, the great speeches and actions by people like Rosa Parks and the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. that we now all look back to and are inspired by. But it took a lot of work. And yet, when you look at their stories, you see how so many of them derived their strength and their hope from believing and trusting in the goodness and in the mercy of God, so that they could rest in what God was already working out in the world, and they could participate in that work of justice. So over these next several months, as we figure out what reopening looks like, it's going to take a lot of work. As we look at the issues of justice that it raises, the people who are required to work because of their income levels, the people who don't have access to health care the same way that you and I perhaps might have access, people who are afflicted in a very particular way by these challenges, and of course, worldwide, we need to look at issues of justice. But we can't do it from a standpoint of relying on our own strength or working out our own busyness to address the problems of the world. Instead, we need to rest in the work that God is already doing and can empower us to participate in. Friends, be blessed, and we'll see you Sunday at virtual worship. And just one more thing, friends, a very special announcement. This Saturday at 4 p.m., Grace Church will be hosting its very first virtual concert. It will, of course, feature our director of music, Michael Shormount, our principal organist and accompanist, Gabe Benton, and our director of Lumina Arts, Meredith Height Estevez. You can access it on our Grace Church website, gracechurchwilmington.org, or you can access it on our Facebook page, Grace Church UMC. Join us and be blessed.